And we are turning into this at the end of class. You may need a few more minutes if you're finishing up your writing when we finish up, but we'll get to that when we get there, okay? So this is our week's assignment here for classwork. So I'm going to open up our file. Okay, one thing we found out, just to give everyone a heads up, is if you come up to the very top where the name of your file is, you can change the. If you open it straight from the class link, it's just going to give you a blank copy. I'll show you what I mean. So this is a blank copy. It's I want the copy of the last one I was working on. So what I did is I just went up there and I just changed the name ever so slightly. I just typed the word notes in there. So now when I go to my folder, if I open up the one that says notes, which I can't find it here because it's actually open. If I come over here, it should be there. Up to my notes one, it's got everything I put on there the past couple days. So you want to change your name of your file. And then when you open it up, that's the one you want to be working from, okay? Just a little Cami tip. So we're done with one. Remember, next week, Wednesday, you have a test on your vocabulary. It'll be matching on this. There'll be a few questions on George Washington, Hamilton, and Jefferson. Just know the big ideas, and if you know what they stood for and who they were, you'll be just fine. So now we're looking at the Louisiana Purchase. Let me zoom in a little bit. And this is very document centered here. So here we're looking at, if I change my color here so it sticks out. Remember, this is where we started off. These were where the 13 colonies were on the East Coast, and we're moving. Let's go a little smaller. We're moving westward, right? This is that manifest destiny. So what we see here, let me just undo those two things so it doesn't clutter up my view too much, is we're seeing the U.S. is growing, right? So we start off as 13 colonies. We get land from England when we win our independence. Now we're all the way up here to this river here. Let me just highlight that. Let's see what we
put a request in the chat room for the kids. Not for you. Mr. Vinny's probably frozen there. He'll be right back. Just raise your hand so I know you guys are here when you get a second. That's in the chat room. Stephanie?
Yep.
Okay.
Dave went. Yeah, really not a Teams fan, I'll tell you that.
Did John make me here?
Don't like it. I think he froze again. While he's reloading this, just make sure guys put your hand in here. You just put one of those buttons so I know you're here. Just log in and check it out. All right, CC, good. I see ya. Toby, I see ya. Good. David, I'm assuming you're here. I know you just came in. Aaron Melise.
All right, I'm going to try again.
Perfect.
All right, so we're at the point where U.S. is growing westward. We get all the way up to this river right here where my mouse is moving. This is the Mississippi River. And we're going to look at buying this land in yellow, the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. Okay, so we're just going to scroll down using the map. I'll just actually zoom out a little bit. Is give everyone a couple minutes to kind of look at it yourself and see if you can answer these 3 questions that really get you looking at the map analysis. So we'll give you roughly just 2 minutes to do that.
Everything in this class is corrected as is every class actually.
Perfect. Yeah, because I popped in and I saw you had just done a couple, so I jumped into 9 and 11. Figured you were working forward, I was working backwards.
Yeah, it's all set. So we are 100% done at this point.
Good to stay on top of your work.
Makes it a lot easier.
Well, for everyone. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the easiest of the 3 questions. The Louisiana Purchase, the area in yellow, is this east or west of the original territories of the United States? You can put it in the comment box. I'm afraid to do too much here in Teams because I may just get kicked off again. All right, the one thing they don't give us on this map is the compass road, so we may have to put that in there ourselves, right?
Yeah. Can't raise your hand. Okay, Emery, that's fine. I gotcha.
Oops. All right, so that's about as good as I'm going to get with this computer. North, south, east, west, right? So if here's where we originally are, I use my compass. This is west of the original area. And this is our manifest destiny. Our destiny is to move west and get new lands. Now this is where we really want you to think about it. Is why do you think Americans might have wanted the lands in Louisiana Purchase in 1803? What advantage would it give the young nation? So what would all this land give us? And really, there is no wrong answer. How might this land help the United States grow?
I have something in the chat room here. Trade, Olivia says trade, perhaps.
I like that answer. I'm just going to do that. What else? We'll go with 3 things.
Access to the Gulf of Mexico, also from the chat room from Olivia. Oh, that.
What's the last one, Ricky?
What's up?
You said you never thought of that.
The Gulf of Mexico one.
Oh. You have to be good with maps to get an answer like that. Good sense of geography. Yeah, I'll think outside the box. I'll give you this. Look at this right here. We got New Spain over here, right? So we get this land. Now we can keep other nations out of the U.S.
Looks like there's a lot of big rivers to the west of
Oh yeah,
the mountains as well.
exactly. A lot of rivers. I mean, we'll learn to find out if those rivers are navigable, meaning that they can actually use them for trade.
Right.
Or kind of, but also the last one is thinking outside the box is Spain's over here. So if we get all this land, right, we can keep the other nations out of the U.S. territory. So this means Spain can't come right into us. We're just pushing them further and further back. A little more elbow room, as some Americans like to refer to it.
Right.
What challenges do you think the Louisiana Purchase in 1803 will bring to a nation that only achieved independence in 1776? We're only looking at a period of 27 years. The country's only 27 years old. And remember, it was only 13 counties, and now they're huge. I mean, really, it's huge. So what could be some major problems that they could have with this much land?
I think we're at 18 states in 1803.
18.
I believe 18 states. Maybe 19. Olivia says control. She's probably saying, you know, how are we going to control all this territory we just took control of?
I gotcha.
Who lives there, though? Is there anybody there?
Well, let's play off that. If there's no one there, we need more what?
Reminds me of Thanksgiving. Who might have been over there? People. Olivia says we need more people, but she's right.
So difficult to control. I'm just highlighting so my answers pop out.
Are you typing on it? I can't really see it. You think you could scroll down a little? You on number 3? Oh, Mr. Vinay just froze up. Okay. You guys should be typing in there though what challenges we're going to have. Money, people, definitely. There's going to be a lot of Native Americans over there, and they're not going to be necessarily happy that we're on their land. So that's going to be a big challenge as well. That's Mr. Vinay's back.
I'm back. Third time already.
Boom.
All right, so there's our answers for 1, 2, and 3. 1, we go west. 2, trade, access to the Gulf of Mexico. We can keep other nations out of the U.S. territory. And 3, it'd be difficult to control, and we need more people. Okay, so that's really just looking at the big idea. Now we're going to scroll down and look at our next document. Document 1 is Notes on the State of Virginia. And this is by Thomas Jefferson. Okay, so let's see, we got 3 questions there. Let's look at the questions first. I tend to do this to
Oh, I think Mr. Vinay froze again. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to read the questions first before we read this paragraph. Okay? This way you kind of know what it is you're getting into. Pull up on my screen here. But start reading these 3 questions. I'll get the sheet out for myself as well. Let's see here.
all right, I'm back again.
I'm trying to open
Yeah,
up
I'm
my
back.
sheet here. We're just reading the questions first.
Okay.
I'm going to go Schoology open. My computer here.
Well, everyone's reading on their own, Ricky, or
Well, I told them to read the questions.
okay. I'm just highlighting some key ideas in the question. That's all.
sheet. No.
Okay, so hopefully you all had a chance to read the questions. Previewing, we're looking at just when was a document written? What does it tell you what Jefferson wants? Remember, he's the president at the time of the Louisiana Purchase. Question number 2, what does it say about farming and manufacturing? Remember, these are two opposite things, agricultural and industrial. And does he support one more than the other? Okay. And do you think Jefferson would be against manifest destiny? Remember, that's our idea that we
Renee froze again in Manifest Destiny. The idea that states should go from all the way from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast. That it was God's intention for Americans to spread their way of life. Okay, so for a minute here, why don't you guys look at this document and then try to maybe come up with an answer. So let's read that document and see if we can come up with some answers. Back, Renee?
Oh yeah, I'm trying. All right, so are we giving a minute or two to try to answer this?
To read it here.
Perfect.
First question's easy. All you gotta do is read the top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is wordy. But Thomas Jefferson was a wordy guy. Real wordy. Holy cow. Nope.
All right, so I'll put this up there. If we look at the dates of the map and dates everything, number 1 should be a fairly easy one to pull out. Is this before or after the Louisiana Purchase?
Before.
Thank you.
Good answer.
Okay. So this is what Jefferson's writing as a Virginian, right? He's writing this roughly 20 years before the Louisiana Purchase. Okay. So why do you think he wants this land?
Huh.
There's a couple different answers I see in here. There's a couple different perspectives. To look at as the American perspective of land, or even looking at our possible future with looking at Europe.
May also not really be out of the document, just what you feel like he was trying to say, or what does it mean?
Which you can inference.
I got an idea. Well, I mean, if he's talking about this 20 years before he's president, that would tell me something about the way his brain works. I didn't realize he'd be talking about this so early in his life. I'm surprised. We only got 4 kids in here, though, Renee, so.
Oh yeah. If it wasn't for one of Well,
Well, I am sure Olivia knows the answer, or has an answer. I think Mr. Grenade froze here, but you should be on the second part of the question, and I'm not sure if someone tried to give me an answer or not, but it says, what can you tell about President Jefferson's motivations? Remember, this is before he's the president. We're not even a country yet, actually, in 1783. But what it tells me is he knew in advance that it would be important for the United States to expand to the west. You know, he's like, man, we got to have far more farming land than what we have in these 13 colonies. So that's really what your answer should be, something of that nature. You could say he was very proactive. So he already knew. Thomas Jefferson is a very smart man. That's why he's one of the founding fathers and the author of the Declaration of Independence and becomes a president. He's a smart man. So something of that nature will satisfy that answer on contextualization. And then we can go down to number 2 in a second. This stupid light. You back, Monet?
yeah, you guys hit one.
Yeah, we just talked about his being proactive and realizing far in advance that the U.S. was going to need to expand itself to the west, have adequate farming, et cetera, et cetera. And it's impressive. Mr. Benet appears to be frozen again. Okay, that's all right. That's pretty much the answer for 2. We can jump down to number 3. It says, what claim does Jefferson make? Oh. You back, Benet?
I'm trying. I don't know. I don't know for how long.
I was just reading question 3 here.
Which one is it strongly support? And 2, he went with he supports farming, saying they are the chosen.
Oh boy. Mr. Benet has popped again. Let me see if I share. It'll work better off of my screen here. Give a second here. All right, so I should be presenting. For some reason I thought I had this open. Let me open this up again. I just want to be sure here that everyone can see this on your screen. I believe we are right here, number 2. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, okay. So let me go. Boom. So we were just wrapping up this closed reading. What we're saying, Jefferson is
Jefferson is pro-farmer, right?
Yeah.
Pro-farmer, saying they're the chosen people of God. And if we have land, we should farm it.
sense to me. We'll get
Grandpa
that.
would agree. Grandpa would agree with that statement.
Yeah, absolutely. In those days, man, that's all there really was. It made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a pretty simple question then. Number 3,
Mm.
based on the document, do you think Jefferson would support or be against the concept of manifest destiny and the expansion of the United States?
It was all about land.
David, anything?
Nope, nothing coming up in the chat.
Oh, something's coming up in the chat?
Nothing, nothing.
Ah.
Yeah.
Renaya, you could say something.
Couple crickets out here.
Ah. I'll help him out.
He loves real estate, I'll tell you that.
Pretty obviously be in support of expansion. All right, I'll move down to the next document in about 30 seconds. Looks like document 2 is a letter from President Jefferson to Robert Livingston.
Which is also, it's not asking us, so I don't feel we're cheating. It's before the purchase.
Okay, yep, all right, 1802, the year before, okay. Key question here. According to this document, why is New Orleans and the possession of New Orleans an important matter to the United States? So we're going to read this document, and what we're trying to figure out is why is New Orleans important to the United States? Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, really, what do we want that place for? What are we going to do down there?
Party.
And the other question suggests, President Jefferson suggests that to keep the U.S. safe, we must then ally themselves. Who must we ally themselves with for the strength of a navy? So in other words, he's saying somewhere in here, he's going to talk about we need to get friendly with some country that has a strong navy. Okay? It's a little bit different than George Washington, who doesn't really want any alliances. And then according to this document, which 2 pieces of land is Jefferson hoping to acquire from the French? Napoleon Bonaparte was in charge at the time. So we'll give you guys a few minutes. This one I think is a little easier. We'll give you guys a few minutes, and we'll see if you guys can't throw some answers into the chat room for Mr. Benet to throw to me.
Yeah, it's definitely a much easier read.
Yeah, this looks a lot easier. And that's okay. Robert Livingston, that sounds familiar to me. Who is he, Benet?
That, remember there's a thing, Livingston wasn't that a guy out in Britain? There was a different Livingston out in the jungles of India. Dr. Livingston.
Oh, the guy that got cursed?
Yeah, something like that. I think that's
The guy that he went into the Pharaoh's thing and then he died a couple days later or something.
well, that's Egypt.
Oh, that was in Egypt. Yeah, wasn't that in Egypt? Didn't that happen?
I thought there was Livingston, Dr. Livingston in like the jungles somewhere lost.
We gotta figure this out. Look it up, Benet. Why these kids are reading? I gotta figure out who this guy is. Definitely sounds English. Maybe it's from a movie. You know?
Yeah, it might be. Robert Livingston, that's easy. I got the roll at my fingertips.
Right.
Former U.S. State Secretary of Foreign Affairs.
Oh. That's not what I was thinking.
Well, there's American actor.
Oh, well, maybe that is what I'm thinking. He's an actor. Was he in?
No.
Isn't he in like Pirates of the Caribbean?
No, old. He was in The Lone Ranger and Zorro.
Oh, no classics. Okay, well, I just definitely heard the name before. All right, so answer verbally or on text or chat, why is New Orleans an important matter to the United States based on this particular letter from the president?
It's a port city.
Okay, I got you. It's a port city. Means
A lot goes in and out, and don't they have control over the water too?
Correct.
so
Correct.
a
That's the
port city-
definition of a port city.
Yeah, which means ships from other countries dock there for. So ships come in from Europe, anywhere. They can come in from anywhere in the world, really. They dock there, they park their boat at their harbor, and they unload their goods, and they pick up goods, and they get off the boat, and then some people stay, you know what I mean? And they're there for a couple of days. It's really how the world works. Okay?
So port means door. It's a door to the city via the ocean.
Right. And if we have our map in front of us, it also connects to the Mississippi River, which goes all the way to Michigan, all the way up to the top of the United States. So you can get pretty much anywhere off that Mississippi River. So there's a lot of reasons there. Now, number two, who does the president suggest we ally ourselves with? He breaks tradition here with George Washington, his former boss.
The British.
Go to the second paragraph.
Well, it's either the British or the France. It's kind of confusing.
Yeah, you got the British. Yep.
The British, right?
It's in line 8.
Line 8. Oh. Let's read it.
Which is real funny because if you just went off our notes from yesterday, he was Mr. French.
Right. So, well, the British have the best navy in the world. So I'm assuming that has something to do with why he says we should ally ourselves with the British. Plus, we speak the same language. We should have we have a very common history. Of course, they are pretty pissed at us still, though, aren't they?
At this point, yeah, but remember when it comes down to push that comes to shove, they like us better than the French.
Aha, that's true. They're in a war with the French at this time.
So lines 8 and 9, it says we must marry ourselves to the British fleet, for we do not have the strength to defend our rights against the French.
Interesting.
Gotta play both sides.
Smart. Last question says, which two pieces of land is President Jefferson hoping to acquire from the French people?
There's another one. Not just the first one's the port, right? New Orleans. That's the easy one. What else do they want besides New Orleans?
The Floridas.
You got it.
Florida?
Yes. And he refers to it like she said. It's plural. He says the Floridas, because at this point it's considered a region.
Spanish had the Floridas, right?
Now, remember, Spanish had Louisiana. There was a big debate on who owned what at that point. Napoleon kind of messed it all up for the Spanish.
Okay, this is a pretty simple one. Okay, so we want to get Floridas, we want New Orleans, and we're going to make friends with the British. Okay. Sounds good to me. Oh, there's one more question.
Yeah, 4. There's a little more space there.
Based on this letter and the previous document, what do you think motivated President Jefferson to acquire the Louisiana Territory for the United States? I suggest we just look back at the map. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So why would he want to acquire all of this, right? Why would he want this? Based upon what we just read. Here's, by the way,
They can make a lot of
they could make a lot of what?
money from trade.
It could. Based upon these other things that they said, why would taking Louisiana make sense? Would they get control of New Orleans if they did it?
Yes.
Yes, they would. Would they seemingly be able to squash the Spanish Florida into their own hands?
Most likely.
Most likely. Do they have control of the North Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico?
Yes.
Yes, and that's exactly what, when we read up here, that's exactly what he said he wanted to do. So it makes sense to expand because of that. So let me just start typing. So you're seeing here in this early part of American history, as you write this down, you're kind of understanding how the United States doubles in size by buying Louisiana from the French, and then how it kind of is going to end up putting itself in position to take Florida. So we'll have 3/4 of the modern day U.S. under control very soon. Okay, so this is kind of how the U.S. expands historically. They're not all going to be this easy, but this part has been.
Mm-hmm.
As far as expansion goes. Okay, I think we're good on this.
Now, I think with what we're at right now, this is a nice point to just come back to this next week with a little writing task with it. I think we've got some good fundamentals. We can kind of just throw these back at them.
Right, and if we were to look back at the map, I think this is an easy thing. If you look at the map, again, why does the United States want to purchase Louisiana? So remember, this stuff here in the dark brown is what we control in 1802, let's just say. This is our country, right? Now, here's the Mississippi River, here's the Ohio River, okay, and the Missouri. Hey, how are you, Mr. J? Now, it makes a lot of sense when you look at this map to go to the left and take everything over in the light brown. Number one, it doubles the size of our country. Okay. Number two, it's going to help us kick the Spanish out of Florida. It's going to give us control of New Orleans. It's going to give us control of all these major rivers, including the Mississippi River. Okay. So this seems like a really good thing to do. Plus, think about today. I mean, what if we didn't control anything to the left of the Mississippi River? We wouldn't be as big a country. We wouldn't have Hollywood, Texas, Arizona, Disneyland. We wouldn't have Disney World if we didn't have the Spanish. Yeah, I mean, because Florida's got the good Disney and Universal. So we'd be missing a lot of stuff if it was. And I don't know that we'd still be a country, because it also would be a lot easier to defeat us, in a military fight, if we didn't own anything here to the west. Imagine if all this was open territory.
We might be Canadian.
Yeah, the Japanese could have at some point this way, or the Chinese, anybody, and they would have defeated them. Maybe they would have defeated us. I don't know. So it's a good thing we make this decision. And we only paid, I think it was only, I don't know, what was it, $8-9 million for Louisiana?
Yeah, it was about 9 million. What we'll do is, this is just your intro to this. We're going to come back to this again when we look at a writing prompt. So this is a great one to just recycle these notes, add a couple of facts so they can kind of just make their claim. So the claim, we won't make them do it today. I mean, especially the students who've been participating. Just at this point, make sure you save, and now you're going to turn it in so you can get your weekly credit.
Yep. And then go back tomorrow during your asynchronous, make sure everything that's due is done. Check the grade book part in Schoology. It'll tell you what you don't have done. and get it done. And then we see it and then we correct them.
Nice, easy option.
Yeah, right now we have everything corrected, so we're pretty much on top of the correct. Okay. Now I guess we'll see you guys on Monday.
Yes, Monday we
Have a
do.
great day.
Thank you, guys. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Yeah. Ricky, your cami looks slightly different than mine.
It does.
You got the little locks next to those things. I don't have access to those.